1,000 feet. I mean, you can, rule of thumb, I mean, you could add about 50 miles an hour to that. So sure, I mean, wind gusts are 100 miles an hour. Look at this camera bouncing here as we look at Midtown Manhattan. The wind gusts are really peaking. They're spiking. I mean, every hour we're looking at them, we're going to get reports in between the hour because they're gusting over 60 miles an hour. Storm planner, as we go through the evening, we are getting into the brunt of the storm. This is something we advertised yesterday. As we get to the mid-afternoon here today, right through the wee hours of the morning on Tuesday, let's say about 2 a.m., that's when we have our wind gusts that are pushing 70 miles an hour. Now, at the coast, we could be closing in on 80 miles an hour. By the time we get to the early evening, and by the way, we're looking at nearly 3:30 here, we're about, let's say, maybe 2.5 hours away from landfall of Hurricane Sandy on the New Jersey coastline. As a hurricane, by the way, 90-mile-per-hour winds. Now, as we go through the evening hours, 80-mile-per-hour gusts, we start to come off the peak after midnight. This will be inland, after 7 o'clock or so, and then it will lose its fuel in terms of having the Atlantic there. At the same time, it is part nor'easter, so it may maintain a little longer than a typical tropical system, and so these wind gusts are going to continue into the early morning hours of Tuesday. The winds at 6 a.m. on Tuesday will drop off significantly, but at that point, we are still dealing with yet another coastal surge. We have that 8 p.m. high tide tonight, and then we'll have another one tomorrow morning. The worst is certainly over as we go through midday tomorrow, and it's showery and breezy during the evening hours. It's just incredible to see this satellite picture here in late October and looking at this hurricane, which again was several hundred miles offshore, and throughout history, what we've seen with those storms is it races out to sea. Well, not this one. Bank that left turn. All of our weather charts showed that over the week, and there it is. Looks like the eye's opening up a little bit more, maybe losing a little bit of its tropical characteristics as it approaches shores, but it's still a tightly wound system with super heavy rainfall. Look at all those reds. That's probably 2 inches an hour coming in, and wind gusts right in this area here. And basically, it looks like you're basically Ocean County here south. Those wind gusts there are probably over 80 miles an hour. If we're already seeing wind gusts in the city that are closer to 60 miles an hour. That's the same thing on the Jersey Shore very quickly at about 28 miles an hour. So here's the storm coming ashore over the next couple of hours. The one thing we are escaping is the heaviest rain. That's really south of I-78 and down toward the Philly and D.C. area. I mean, maybe this is the one component that's not as intense as Irene, but everything is almost double Irene, especially the surge, which could be double what we saw this morning, meaning the 4 or 5 foot surge that we saw at the Battery could be 10 or 12 feet, and that's why we're concerned about the seawater getting into the subways. And you see the storm right here going inland, and then the snows that are going to come in on the western side. 90-mile-per-hour winds, northwest to 28 miles per hour, and a central pressure that is the lowest pressure ever observed of a storm at this latitude. It's just remarkable. The old one was 38 hurricane, of course, that went right through the middle of Long Island. But you see the weather services track. I like that. This, I think, is too late. They're acknowledging that in some of the discussions that it's likely to come through a little bit earlier. The high tides we're concerned about, again, will be this evening. It's closer to midnight as you go into the western end of Long Island Sound. So there's a look at the storm right now. Again, roughly, 2.5 hours from landfall on the New Jersey coastline, very close to Atlantic City.
Hey everyone, it's me again. Don't be alarmed. I didn't lose power, but I just got the lamps on, because I just want to turn everything off. You see everything is working here. But what's happening right now is this storm is almost making landfall. It's an hour away from hitting an area between Cape May and Atlantic City. I just want to update you because I feel like I've captured enough footage of Hurricane Sandy outside, and it's gonna be a bit harder to record when it gets darker. So I went upstairs periodically. I didn't really stay down here too much. I stayed down here for most of the day, but I've gone up to check how the weather's been like. It's very windy out there. There's less rain and it's more wind. And I'd be interested to see how the Raritan River and the Raritan Bay look like. I'm gonna probably head off there tomorrow in the afternoon, and I'll have footage of the aftermath. And of course, I'm gonna travel around town and see if there's anything else that's worthy of getting put on camera. So thanks once again for watching.